All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. People are still kind of coming in, but I am Dee Pepper, and this is the feature release preview for the third quarter, 2020. Hope everyone's doing well and finding themselves healthy and safe and hopefully getting back to normal somewhat with business. You guys know that we're here for you and support's here. If you are running into any issues, always call into support, email, and I'm also here if you need anything. But yeah, we're just going to give you a little preview of kind of what to expect. We are looking at releasing this update. We are shooting for Monday next week. So this will just give you a little insight to what to expect. Got a couple of really fun, big things coming out with a lot of things still in the works, as you guys know. So as always, administrators, please download your default grid layouts from the File menu in eManage. Only one administrator needs to do so. I don't think that we did anything to the grid layouts, but I always like to say that just in case we've made any changes that I'm not aware of. So just make sure you download those default grid layouts. If we uploaded anything in there, you'll want to make sure that you're taking full advantage of that. All right, big one. First enhancement that's coming out on Monday, hopefully for everybody. We have created a new project entry form. We're continuing to just try to make things easier and expose things that you guys are using on a regular basis. And one of those obviously is always just creating projects. You're just constantly creating projects. So what we did was we created a button and you can access this from the main tool menu. As you can see here on the left side of the screen, main tool menu, new project. And what this is going to do is just make things a little bit easier on you guys for creating projects. You no longer have to go down to search, find them, right click, actions, start a new project. So obviously you can tell just walking through that, there's a lot of clicks. So we're just going to hopefully make this a lot easier on you guys. What it does is it brings up this add new project form that you can see here in the middle. And if you only have, so basically the way that it works is if you only have one corporate division, it's just going to automatically fill in that corporate division for you. If you have multiple, you'll want to select that division, obviously. But the next part down, the who, so you can see there's some required fields. The contact is not required in this particular form. And what that means is you can skip over that and start selecting your end user. But what's really cool about this form is if you select your contact and that contact is obviously already entered into the system and connected to your install location, if you select the contact, it's automatically going to fill in your end user for you on top of filling in your salesperson for you automatically as well. If the primary salesperson is set on that company record. So one of those things up front, set up your company records correct, and it's just going to save you some clicks and having to think about it, what you're going to actually select. So as I said, the contact's not required, so you can just skip over to the end user. If you don't have the contact entered in the system yet, you can just select your end user, which will then, if you have your primary salesperson set, it will set your primary salesperson, and then you're just going to go through and fill out the rest of the required fields. You can see that there's red asterisks notating which ones are the required fields. And then if you're a user that likes your tab keys like me, and if you tab through and you skip a field, it will put a red X next to it, and that's just showing you that you need to fill that in. So when you try to hit save, it's not going to let you because you need to fill in the required fields. So what I was saying about adding that end user in and skipping over the contact, this form, once you hit save, it'll just take you straight into the project information page where you can then use your add quick contact button and add a new contact in that window. So with all of that being said, obviously this works best and it's going to be a really quick tool to use and make everything a little bit more efficient. Mostly with existing, customers and contacts. But, if you go through the motions and you know that the contact and the end user are already in the system, this is going to make it a lot easier on you guys. Again, it's under main tool menu, new project. And once you hit save, it'll take you into the project info window where you can then make any changes as you need to. So pretty cool little feature that we've added in, just again, exposing those buttons that you're using all the time, trying to save you guys time. So it's going to autofill those fields for you if you have everything set up as you should. Okay. Hopefully you guys are excited about that, as excited as we are, because it's a pretty big one we've been wanting for a long time. Some more enhancements here. We have updated our help guide finally. Before, if you went to help and view the eManage help file, it would open up right within eManage, and it was really difficult to kind of maneuver through the help guide and look for things that you're needing help with. We want to put resources in front of you guys that are going to help you get help faster. Instead of calling into support and waiting for an answer back, or hoping that the help guide is going to just get you the answers that you need right away, and self-help, so you're not having to wait on anyone. On top of it being a great tool, for new users, when you bring in new employees and need to train them, the help guide is going to be a really great resource for them to go and take a look at. So when you do hit help, view the eManage help file after you get the update, it will take you to the help guide and open up in its own separate browser. And so if you have, internet access anywhere, you can grab this link and access it from home or whatever you want to do. But it is very organized by, sections or areas in the system where you can come over here and just kind of click and see, what's underneath each section. But even more important, this search is going to be a great tool up here. So when you get in here, just use the search up here and just start typing certain words. Mine, I'm connected to a couple of different guides, so it might not show you exactly what you're going to see. But for example, quick walkthroughs. I just start typing quick, and it takes me straight to the quick walkthroughs, which is a guide of how to get a project through, through the system A to Z. Starting with a prospect, you create purchase orders, go through the different motions. So obviously, great tool for new employees, but really great resource for maybe some companies that have been in the system for some time and want to start taking advantage of some other areas in the system that they're not using. We want to know what you guys are looking for, and we will get that in the help guide. If it's not already in there, we want to create it so that you have a resource, a tool to go to just to self-help and to learn more about the program, more importantly. So use the help guide, great tool, really easy to maneuver through and search for what you need to search for. On top of that, sorry, I should have mentioned, this is also really easy to export and share with other users. If you needed to share something, obviously you can just grab that link up top, but there's a share button and you should be able to hit this to export to PDF or Word. You could actually export the entire guide and print it out if you want huge eManage manual in your office. But yeah, just easy to get data out of it, unlike our old help guide. Again, feedback, very welcome. If you feel like you're not getting what you need out of the help guide, or you need something that's not in the help guide, I personally definitely want to hear about it. Shoot that over to me via email or pick up the phone and call me. I want to hear about what that is and get that in for you guys so you can start taking advantage of it even more. Another huge enhancement, we actually are exposing the grid toolbar to you guys to more easily access grid layouts. So if you're not familiar with grid layouts, you are missing out. It's a huge part of the program that really helps, makes us stand out against some other programs. Being able to create your own custom layouts and grids to access, to run different reports and to better analyze your business. Grid layouts are the way to go. I'm going to show you a preview of what that's going to look like in just a moment. But first things first, you need to do a little something to make this work. And just a side note, we are looking at making this show on default automatically in the future for certain grids. So for example, maybe the current opportunities, you're flipping between different grids, you know, what's this year, what's this quarter, what's next quarter, you know, opportunities based off of different date ranges and things like that. All the different analytics that you run on those reports that you're using on a regular basis, we are going to make this default open up this way. But in the meantime, what you will need to do is go into your grid, whatever grid you want to, expose this new functionality. So for example, the current opportunities, open up the current opportunities. And what you're going to do is hit your little red button in the bottom right corner. If you're not familiar with the little red button, reach out to me. I want you to know more about grid layouts. If you know about grid layouts, you know what the little red button is, but I'll show you in just a minute as well. Hit that little red button, and what you're going to do is hit your grid functions, and you're going to tell it to always show the grid toolbar for this grid. You only have to, this is a per user setting, and you will need to do it per grid that you want this functionality to show up. So let me just show you kind of what that's going to look like. So this is the current opportunities grid. Again, I went down to the red button in the bottom right corner, down here, bottom right. I selected grid functions, and I told it to always show this, always show the grid toolbar for this grid. Okay. And you only have to select it once. It does require a closeout and then open it back up. And then it'll just always remember that setting. So you don't have to resave the layout or anything like that. Just tell it to always show the grid toolbar layout, close out of your opportunities, get back in it, or whichever grid you were in. What this is going to do is expose this left panel, so you guys can kind of see we're trying to keep everything consistent. You know, we have that left panel in the project info now. Same thing here, you're going to have that left panel over there, and it's going to expose all the different layouts that you have in your system. So instead of going red button, clicking the down arrow, selecting it, then hitting load, you can literally click on these, and it's just going to change the grid for you. And you can flip between these different, what we're calling grid favorites. So if you are not familiar with grids, again, reach out to me. Let me know. I want to get you some more training or point you in the direction of where you can go in the help guide or a video that you can kind of watch on your own time. And we want you to start using these. You know, they're really they're very impactful. And you can see down here, I have pointed to the buttons that you would use to save default layout. So I just want to kind of point that out. If you're not familiar with it, you rename these, and you can either save using just the disk, the save icon, or if you have access, you know, as an administrator, if you have access to save as a company-wide default, that's the hand underneath. And as you can see, in my grid favorites over here on the left, it says all opportunities, company default. So it will have your company default listed there, showing you that that is the company default. So if you're flipping to some other ones, but you just want to go back to the original, you can go back by just selecting that last one there, your company default. So again, just exposing things that we want, you know, you to have more access to, quicker access to, hopefully to get you guys running a little bit more efficiently. I do see some chats coming in. Please keep those coming if you have questions about any of this, and I will address those questions at the end. That's really it on the enhancements. As you guys know, we are, you know, working on several other things, which I'll mention at the end here, but two pretty large ones that we're pretty proud of. So some issues resolved this quarter, just a handful. So in the administrator, or I'm sorry, not technically the administrator, but mostly the administrators are accessing customer ports. All we did was change the way that it's showing inside that customer ports window, just to show you the friendly name instead of the file name and description, just to show it a little bit easier and it's more user friendly. Also, when opening the administrator application, it used to just open to a big blank page. We've now defaulted it to open the corporate division settings. So when you open up, it's just going to go straight to corporate division access, I think it's what it's called. That's the one that you're always in. you know, you're always going in and manipulating drop downs or giving access to someone or whatever that might be. That's the big one that everyone's going to on a pretty regular basis. So again, we just want to expose those things you guys are using frequently. As far as project issues, there was an issue with selecting scheduling when underneath the history module. That's been resolved, so you can now select that and it'll give you the correct data there. Another huge one, discretionary special tax on quote. That hasn't reflected correctly in some time, so that has been fixed. So any of what comes to mind is my North Dakota clients. If you apply any special tax to a quote, that is now printing correctly, calculating correctly on the quote. My Hayworth users, there was a timeout issue when processing large orders. That's been addressed. And also you can now process Hayworth quotes after 10 p.m. or 6 p.m. Hawaii time. So we all know who probably brought that one up, Mr. Hawaii. But yeah, if you want to process quotes real late at night, you go for it. It now works. Other than that, there's a couple little minor things. Opening the asset manager. If anyone's interested in learning a little bit more about the asset manager, let me know. I'm kind of thinking about, I know I've been off the webinar train for a little bit, so I do apologize, but you guys know things have been kind of crazy. So I do want to get back on the webinar Wednesdays, and start showing some more stuff on the system. But the asset manager is pretty cool. You can keep track of not only, you know, your internal assets, laptops, things like that, but I've seen people use it for demo chairs, which is really cool. There's one little thing that we're looking at tweaking here in the future, which is adding pictures. Currently, you can't add pictures, but you can add all kinds of other information, serial numbers, and all kinds of stuff like that to keep track of what's been checked out and checking back in. So anyway, when you open up the asset manager, it's populating information automatically instead of having to put in some criteria to make it populate. It's just going to automatically populate all of your assets. There was a calculation error in the cash flow management backlog dollar amount. So we've removed the deposits from the backlog dollar amount. Which turned us to the current opportunities, wondering, I'm sorry, I put current opportunities, that should be current backlog, my apologies. Current backlog, obviously it's your backlog, so we want to see what your backlog is in the current backlog. And we realized that there was a little bug there as well, and most people have a calculated field in the current backlog that has also been revised. There was also a tax calculation error on auto parts with specified quantity. If anybody's having any issues with tax calculating on auto parts, that's been addressed. And we added requested date, due date to the action item analysis. That was a request by a client that I'm not sure why that wasn't in there, but it's in there now. So if you're not running, you know, you're analyzing your action items, you know, you can go in there and do that now and kind of create some cool layouts to show you, you know, how long is it taking, you know, between the time of your requested date to actually complete it, like how much overdue are your action items. But there's all kinds of cool analysis on action items. If you're curious on any more details on that, let me know. It's really a neat tool to kind of analyze what's out there for people to complete, how long it's taking them to complete it. Just to, you know, it's not for any other reason other than to help everyone, you know, be more efficient and more productive and, yeah, more profitable. So that's really it for this update. Just so you guys know, you know, still in the works. We still have our iOS app application, phone app in the works. That has a huge focus on project management and field use. That is going to be huge when it does come out. Gary's, our developer, is working very hard on that. And it should be out pretty soon. We've seen little sneak peeks of it, and it's going to be awesome. But yeah, definitely a focus on field use and project management so that you can quickly, get pictures uploaded and send action items straight from your phone for those field guys or gals. We're also continuing to improve the user interface and user experience, as you guys know, just constantly making little changes here and there. So yeah, any feedback, definitely welcome. And yeah, just continuing to work out the bugs, any bugs that are on our list, we're still working through them. Slowly but surely we'll get there. Any questions? That's all I have for today. I'm going to kind of check on the chat, but if you have any questions and you want to speak up, definitely unmute yourself and we can address those or chat them in. Oh, goodness. Someone said my screen was frozen. Hopefully everybody got that. Questions on anything coming out in the next update? Again, we're looking at an ETA of Monday, beginning to release it Monday. So let's see. Awesome. Mary Beth, I'll get with you on that. Yeah, feel free to chat in any questions, any feedback. Lexi, I got you. Any feedback on kind of what's coming out? Are you guys excited about the new project form and the grid layout selector? OBI2. Okay, maybe I might hold a webinar on that. We've got several chatting in, wanting more information on the asset manager. So I will look into. Oh yeah. Okay, Rick. I'll do a webinar on the asset manager for sure. Thanks, Gail. Yeah, we're excited about the new project form. Cool. All right, if there are no further questions, or if you have any questions, I'm going to leave the chat room open for about the next 5 minutes. Otherwise, you guys are free to go. Appreciate you coming as always. And yeah, watch out for the next invite for the next webinar, and we'll keep you guys updated. Thanks so much. Y'all have a great one.